So, we just got some pretty insane kit leaks for Nicole, Lohen, the new Anemo girl we saw in the last livestream, and even a little extra info that might tell us where Snezhnaya is going next. In this video, we're going to break all of it down in a simple way, because some of these leaks sound crazy at first, but once you actually look at what they are saying, you can already start to see why so many people are suddenly getting very interested in Nicole. And yeah, before we go deeper, leaks are just leaks, early info can change, stuff can get moved around before beta, during beta, or even after that, so don't take any of this as final. But still, these details are interesting enough that they are absolutely worth talking about. Let's start with Nicole, because she is clearly the biggest point here. The main idea from the leaks is that Nicole is basically a huge Bennett tier support, but not in the usual way people might expect. What makes that sound so big is that the leak says she is not only usable with Hexerei characters. That part matters a lot, because when people first hear about a strong support connected to a new region or a new group of characters, the fear is always that the kit will be super locked, super niche, and only really function inside one expensive premium team. But from what we are hearing here, Nicole may not be that kind of support at all. If this is accurate, Nicole could be one of those characters who launches with some kind of intended team identity, but then ends up being much broader than people first expected. And that is exactly where the really dangerous supports come from. The supports that age best in Genshin are usually not just strong in one team. They are the ones that have enough flexibility to keep showing up again and again when new units come out. If Nicole really has only moderate team restrictions, and if those restrictions get even looser with constellations, then she could have that kind of long-term value. The next huge point is that Nicole, similar to Bennett's support style, does not apply pyro. That might sound disappointing for a second if someone expected reaction setup, but honestly, this may actually be one of the most important parts of the whole leak. If she does not force an element on the enemy, then she avoids one of the biggest problems some supports have, which is messing up reaction setups or specific team patterns. A pure support that gives huge team value without interfering too much with elemental flow can be insanely useful. That also connects to another leak. The description there makes Nicole sound a bit like a coordinated attack support, kind of in the Xingqiu or Yelan direction, but without elemental application. That is a very weird and very interesting idea. So instead of being a normal off-field attacker that also helps reactions, she may be more like a pure damage amplifier with added hit instances. And what makes this even more interesting is the note that the crit stats are taken from the on-field character. If that part is real, then it means the extra damage Nicole adds may scale in a way that feels much more tailored to your carry rather than feeling like random side damage from the support herself. The leak compares the additional damage to Xianyun and says not to expect it to be on Xianyun's level, but lower. That is probably a good thing for balance. If Nicole were giving Bennett-level support and also adding Xianyun-level extra damage on top of that, that would start sounding almost too ridiculous. So lower than Xianyun does not mean weak. It probably just means the extra damage is strong enough to matter, but not the entire point of the kit. The real value seems to be the full package. Now let's talk about Lohen for a bit, because the leaks around him are interesting too. From what we have here, Lohen might be a teammate for Black Duran, and he really seems to be an on-field cryo damage dealer for Black Duran teams. That is already enough to understand the role. He is probably meant to drive a specific team style rather than be some kind of random generalist. The issue is, Lohen is also apparently going to be a standard character. And that is where the hype gets a little weaker, because let's be honest, when a standard character is a main damage dealer, expectations usually have to stay lower. That does not automatically mean he will be bad, but standard characters are very often designed in a safer way. They usually do not get the same crazy numbers, crazy utility, or crazy future-proofing that limited headline units get. So if Lohen really is a standard main damage dealer, then sadly there is a pretty good chance he ends up feeling decent, but not amazing. Then there is the new Anemo character, the one we saw in the last livestream. The leak calls her basically a Vendi replacement. That is a pretty loaded description, because Vendi's main identity has always been grouping, control, and making certain content feel way easier when enemies can be pulled. So when someone says Vendi replacement, that could mean one of two things. Either she is literally another crowd control specialist for modern content, or she is a more updated Anemo utility unit that fills a similar slot, but works better with current enemy design. We also got a mention of new artifacts, which is exactly the kind of detail that can make all of these character leaks even more important. Because sometimes a kit sounds good, but then the artifact set is what pushes it over the edge. If Nicole is really this kind of attack buff plus added damage support, then a tailor-made artifact set could make her feel even better. Same for Lohen if he is meant to be played in a very specific cryo team shell. Artifacts are often the missing piece when we first hear early kit descriptions. Another interesting note is that there is conflicting info about whether there will be a second phase of Hexerei buffs. That part is very important for the bigger picture. If there is a second phase, then the devs may still be actively expanding that whole system and pushing it further. If there is not, then maybe they are moving into the next regional mechanic sooner than expected. And that leads perfectly into the last thing I want to talk about, which is Sandrone. The Sandrone leak is short, but I think it may be one of those little hints that says a lot more than it looks like at first. The comparison being made is basically that, just like Anefa helped introduce the direction of Nodcry through Lunar Charged, and those changed hydro-related reactions, Sandrone might do something similar for Snezhnaya. And if that is what this means, then we may be looking at the beginning of a new reaction shift, this time around cryo. The way I read it, Sandrone could be one of the first units that points toward an upgraded or altered form of superconduct, something stronger and more central to team design rather than the older version we know now. And honestly, that would make a lot of sense. Cryo has needed some fresh energy for a while, and if Snezhnaya really wants to define itself with cryo-related reaction changes, then a character like Sandrone would be the perfect place to start showing that direction. So when you put all of this together, Nicole feels like the biggest winner of these leaks right now. She sounds like a powerful pure support, maybe much more universal than people expected, with attack buffs, extra damage, and scaling tied to the on-field unit. Lohen sounds more like a specific role player, probably held back a bit by being standard. The new Anemo girl could be a modern Vendi-style answer for newer content. And Sandrone might already be teasing the next major elemental design shift after what Nodcry did with hydro-related reactions. But again, keep it grounded. Leaks are just leaks. Things can change, wording can be off, early interpretations can be wrong, and sometimes what sounds broken on paper ends up feeling much more normal in-game. Still, I have to say, out of everything here, Nicole is absolutely the one I would watch the closest. Tell me in the comments who you're most hyped for right now. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.